to spend a little bit of time talking about where our administration is with respect to this tremendously important innovation agenda in education, and spend some time in discussion and dialogue with all of you about the directions you think we need to continue to push in, or push in some new directions moving forward. Innovation has really been a pillar of our education work. Those of you who were here last year heard me talk about the importance of really driving reform across these core areas of standards and assessments and teachers, and really turning around our low-performing schools and using data, but really spurring innovation across all of those areas to succeed. Since that time, the President's laid out for us really a comprehensive plan around winning the future. And that, as he laid that out in January, he really talked about the importance of having a new policy plan to really out-educate, out-build, out-innovate, and to reform and open government to do a better job of really moving our country forward so that we're competitive in years to come. We are really trying in the education space in our administration to marry those concepts of out-educating and out-innovating the world, because we know that we have a lot of work to do to really bring these concepts of education reform and innovation together, and to really demonstrate the potential of that moving forward. Many of you do that day in and day out. That's what you do in your partnerships with schools, with teachers, in your partnerships working in the education endeavor, and so we really applaud you for that. But we know that the work to win the future really begins in our classrooms. We also know that we're an innovation nation, and so that work around innovation also has to start in our classrooms. We have to do more to really connect the culture of innovation in our schools. So the President has really tried to drive this home as we've more recently regenerated our push to reauthorize the Elementary and Secondary Education Act, to really redesign that bill so that it works better for schools, for parents, for students. And I'll come back and talk a little bit about that. But his work in terms of laying out a vision for moving us forward has taken him in recent weeks to schools like Tech Boston, up in Boston, Massachusetts, which is part of a pilot school zone that provides greater autonomy at the school around budgeting, around staffing, around curriculum, around time on learning. And Tech Boston is a really terrific example of public-private partnerships around the concept of innovation, integrating technology throughout the entire curriculum at that school, so that students are learning about science and math and engineering and language arts and social studies through the technological lens there, and with applications in every classroom. It also is a school that has a tremendous set of partners, both local as well as national partners. Many of you probably in the room are familiar with this school. So it was a terrific example and opportunity to do that. The President also recently called on Congress to deliver a reauthorization of the Elementary and Secondary Education Act by the beginning of the next school year. And he did that at a school near here, Kenmore Middle School, which is right across the river from us, and which is a great school that really focuses on technology and the arts, and does more to really help engage students, motivate students in their learning, and use technology in the process. The President played with some smart boards there and had a good time with students, and really laid out his priorities for ESEA. So we're going to continue doing more to really lift up these examples of innovation in our system. I think it's critical for us to really be able to demonstrate around the country of what's possible with respect to the picture of innovation in our classrooms. And that's because we just have had years within our education system, as many of you know, of doing a lot of the same, doing more of the same, and having trouble breaking out from what's often the rut that we see in terms of teaching and learning and kind of your run-of-the-mill curriculum there. So we want to try to really do more there. I'm just going to mention a few areas where we're focused in particular on spurring innovation and really transforming our classrooms and our schools to looking forward toward 21st century learning. The first is really the endeavor that we're working on at the White House with a number of my colleagues, Anish among them and others, through the Office of Science and Technology Policy, through the National Economic Council, and through the Domestic Policy Council where I sit, to convene a new subcommittee on education technology. And really to focus that working group with agencies around across the government, both at Ed and with the Department of Defense, Department of Labor and others involved in that process, to do more to really explore how we can encourage and spur innovation and support education technology, innovation through education technology across our government. So there we're looking at what we can do to really use the Common Core, which we now know over 40 states are moving forward with in terms of adopting, as an opportunity to really launch a new generation of pedagogical solutions, a new generation of curriculum, a new generation of teaching approaches that are connected to the Common Core, and technological applications that are also connected to that core, and really identifying those using the bully pulpit and using our resources across the government to really lift those examples up. Doing more to really convene communities of practice. This is something that I'm sure my colleagues at Education have shared with you, the importance of really doing more so that our teachers are better connected to one another and are sharing in real time their lessons, their best practices, their approaches to really improving student achievement. This is really designed to break down some of the really rigid walls and rigid systems that we have now, where a teacher goes into the classroom, closes the door, teaches his or her lesson for the day, and that's that. We're not going to get ahead unless we really have the synergy of new approaches and ideas being shared across our whole network of teachers. So we want to do more there through that committee. We're really focused on doing more to launch a new ARPA Ed, and some of you have heard a bit about this project that's really based on some of the work that's been done at the Department of Defense to really develop a new next generation set of solutions, innovations, and ideas around how to help close the achievement gap, help promote and accelerate learning and personalize learning for students. One of the interesting things that DARPA has looked at is this concept of a personalized tutor, or a digital tutor that's able to really adapt to the learning needs of particular students and meet them where they are and help them really catch up and get up to grade level standards. So the ARPA Ed project is something that our colleagues at the Department of Education have been working heavily on with the Department of Defense, and it's really bringing that very different and unique way of procurement and grant awards and grant development over into the Department of Education around this concept of